Welcome to Friday Night Feast, everybody. Right, let's get stuck straight in, shall we? So, I think it should be illegal for nurses to go on strike. It should be a criminal offence. Why? Well, for one very simple reason. If nurses go on strike, then people will die. And we can't allow that, can we? There is really only one issue at play here. It's not about how much nurses are paid. It's not about whether or not they're paid enough to do their job. It's about whether or not nurses going on strike will lead to people dying. And it obviously will. I think it's morally unconscionable for nurses to go on strike. Nurses in the UK take a pledge, the Nightingale Pledge, apparently. That pledge clearly states, I'm quoting now, "I solemnly pledge myself before God and in the presence of this Assembly to pass my life in purity and to practice my profession faithfully. I will abstain from whatever deleterious and mischievous. As a missioner of health, I will dedicate myself to devoted service to human welfare." That's out of the way. So, going on strike clearly goes against that pledge, in my view. How does not helping to make people better help human welfare? I would also argue that going on strike over pay is a little bit mischievous, if you ask me, because nurses do a tremendous job, a difficult job. I've never saved anyone's life. In a time of crisis, you wouldn't want me. I think that's pretty clear, so don't get me wrong, right? At times, it's an incredibly grim job as well. I've never saved a life, and I am in awe of what nurses do to be there for people and their loved ones in their time of need. But they have had 2 pay rises in 2 years. A rise of 3% in July 2021 and a rise of 4.5% in July 2022. The average salary of a nurse is about 32 grand. You simply cannot go on strike over pay when you've had 2 pay rises in 2 years. And if they're not happy with their pay rise, they should take it up with their union, not us. Talking of unions, this really is the point. How on earth do the Royal College of Nursing bigwigs look themselves in the mirror? They clearly feel that they did a bad job negotiating the pay rises. Now they're trying to save face by, in my opinion anyway, playing roulette with people's lives. Train workers or bus drivers going on strike, that's one thing, but nurses is a different thing altogether. They say that their strike will only affect non-urgent care, so that's stuff that's not life-threatening right now, heart attacks. But those things can become life-threatening for patients very, very quickly, can't they? When they go on strike, perhaps somebody won't get a lump checked or a wound might become infected and they get sepsis, for example. Now, I can understand that nurses want more pay, and I'm quite sympathetic towards that, don't get me wrong. I can understand that they may be struggling with the cost of living crisis, absolutely. But so is everybody else. We did lock this country down during COVID to protect the NHS, and that cost people jobs, money, livelihoods. Does the taxpayer really have to fork out now for more money for nurses in the middle of this cost of living crisis? It's a deeply uncomfortable thing to say, because nurses literally save lives and they are amazing people, but right now, in the current time that we live in, I think they're paid enough for what they do. And if they vote to strike, I think they'll have blood on their hands.